And that is what I think truly success is being able to go home and look your family in the face and know that you're doing everything you can to support them. That's
and then
what
when
I
you
think
go to the beach
is.
with your family, they're like, there's my stud dad right there standing there.
Do you have
That's literally his whole life. Holy shit, that is so sad. His whole life is his body. Which is going to give out within the next 15 years from his overusage of gear. That's so sad.
A self-proclaimed alpha male mocked a Christian on a podcast, lost his mind when challenged, and went viral for all the wrong reasons. Since then, his life has been spiraling out of control, culminating in his recent arrest. Let's break down his downfall and see why things went so wrong for this guy. The moment that started Wes Watson's downfall happened on the Fresh and Fit podcast, where he sat alongside a panel of guests, including a Christian who had a very different view of success. Wes, a self-proclaimed alpha male, built his entire persona on money, dominance, and power. But when this Christian challenged that worldview, Wes completely lost it, leading to one of the most embarrassing meltdowns on the internet. The clip went viral, and the internet turned against him almost overnight. And instead of proving them wrong, Wes kept proving them right. But before we get to that, let's start with a clip that exposed Wes Watson for who he really was.
My definition of success will probably be far different than everybody else's on the panel. I'll probably maybe be the lone dissenter, but my definition of success is having a family, having children, and being part of the apparatus of the world. And true wealth is a rejection of materialism. As Christ said himself, what good does it benefit a man to gain the entire world at the cost of his soul? And essentially, when I think of wealth, I think of materialism. It's okay to have materialism. It's not against Christian ethics to become rich, become wealthy. But I just think it's all beside the point, ultimately. You're trying to go for a single thing, and it's to achieve something greater.
This statement completely contradicts Wes Watson's entire philosophy. The Christian is saying that money and status are not the ultimate goals, something that Wes has built his entire identity around. And that is exactly why Wes snaps.
Shut the f*** up.
You
don't
worship
know me,
it.
you
You
f***ing
can tell.
lame.
We're
I
gonna
can make
move on.
you cry if you want. You have
Then the
money.
person-
Does he have money?
No.
Do you have money?
No, I don't
How
have.
much
I
money
don't
do you
have.
have?
I don't
Does he
have
have
money.
money?
No, I'm broke.
Instead of making a counterpoint, Wes immediately attacks. He doesn't even try to argue. He just starts yelling. And the only thing he cares about? Money. In his mind, success is only about wealth. And if you don't have money, you don't matter. But the Christian does not back down.
I
have a
just really have
Ferrari.
to know, like, how much money you got?
Probably the $5 in my pocket. Not much more.
See, can anyone answer for the guy?
Why do they think I'm kidding? I have a family. I take care of an entire family. That takes a lot of money.
He's doing all right.
Okay.
You can see Wes getting more frustrated. He's used to people backing down when he yells, but this time it's not working. The Christian is calm, confident, and unshaken, and that makes Wes even angrier.
Here's the thing, you guys. If you ain't fit, you can't say it's not all about being in good shape.
Why not?
If you don't have money, you can't say it's not all about money.
Yeah, why
But
not?
if he does have money, he can say that.
Why not?
He
Why can't you say? Why must you have the thing before you? Hang on. Let me ask the question.
Because hypothetical is
Let me ask the
hypocritical.
question. Let me ask the question.
Hypothetical is hypocritical.
How do you even know what I was going to say before I've even been allowed
Because
to
I know
ask the
what you're
question?
gonna say.
Then what was I going to say?
You're going to say, why can't you ask the question?
Okay, so that's not what I was going to say. What I was going to say is, how in the world can you create a standard that it's inappropriate to ask somebody, how come if I don't have X thing, because I don't value X thing, does that mean X thing is actually valuable?
You've never experienced it, so you can't speak about it.
This is where Wes starts losing the debate entirely. The Christian exposes the flaw in Wes's logic. Wes is basically saying, only rich people can say money isn't everything, and only fit people can say fitness isn't everything. But the truth is, plenty of rich and fit people have realized that those things don't bring lasting happiness.
Are you proud? If you look in the mirror, would you guys say this motherfucker's proud of who the f*** he is? That's a bag of trash, dude. Pull your fucking shirt
Because
off
I've
and
been-
tell me you're fucking proud
Because
of
I've been to prison?
Jesus Christ.
Because
This is rock bottom for Wes in this debate. He has nothing left to say. He's not arguing anymore. He's just insulting. This is the moment when the audience turns on him. Instead of proving his point, he proved the Christian right. Wes did not win this debate. Instead, he exposed himself as a deeply insecure man who needs money, muscles, and status to feel valuable. The Christian, on the other hand, was calm, confident, and unshaken. Because his identity wasn't built on money, it was built on something bigger. The internet saw right through Wes, and overnight his alpha male persona began to crumble. But this was just the beginning. Wes's meltdown was only the first step in what would become one of the most embarrassing downfalls of any self-proclaimed alpha male, and it only got worse from here. After his meltdown on the podcast, things only got worse for Wes Watson. The internet turned against him, and instead of proving them wrong, he kept proving them right. More and more clips started surfacing, showing Wes berating people, flexing his wealth in the most insecure ways, and lashing out at anyone who didn't worship his success. At first, it looked like just another internet controversy, but as the clips continued piling up, one thing became obvious. Wes was not in control at all. Let's break down the moments that exposed him.
He was just quiet the whole way as I just laid into this idiot on the way here, because these people, they always just insert their advice into my life, and whatever me and the guy were talking about, I had to yell at the dude, tell him he's a dipshit, and he shut the up. And then the Uber driver's like, you shouldn't let people get to you like that. I said, no, bro. How old are you, dog? He said 67. I said, you're an Uber driver at 67. Let's just go over the facts. You just picked me up at my $25 million house. You're dropping me off at my warehouse. Look inside there. I opened the garage. I said, there's Rolls Royces and Lamborghinis in there. That lifted truck right there is $600,000. I was like, you're an Uber driver at 67, bro. Look at your physical condition and look at where you're at. You're an Uber driver. You just picked me up at my $25 million house. Like, you picked me up there. You saw it, bro. Why are you giving me any advice?
Wes thought this was a flex. Instead, he just exposed his own insecurity. The Uber driver was not attacking him. He was just offering a simple piece of advice. And Wes's immediate response? Mocking the man's age. Bragging about his money, trying to prove he was better. But the worst part was that he needed to do this. He needed to feel superior, because deep down, he wasn't as secure as he claimed to be.
Well, there the go. 2 minutes of the video wasted. Because these motherfuckers just don't get that it's so annoying to sit there and... There's no possible way that needed to be done at that level.
The landscapers were just doing their jobs. They weren't interfering with him, but Wes exploded at them anyway. This wasn't about the landscapers. It was about control. Wes needed to feel dominant, and anytime someone didn't cater to his world, he lashed out. At this point, it wasn't just internet trolls calling him out. Even his own employees were not safe from his rage.
I don't operate too well around normal people because they're stupid. They're in their position. They're in the same position they're in because they're not that educated. They don't understand what's happening. The motherfucker pushes my phantom door with his hand on the pane. I go, mother, have you ever had your car washed? And he goes, what? And I said, have you ever had your car washed before? And he goes, oh, come on, Wes. I said, nah, dog, have you ever washed your car? And he goes, oh, come on, bro. I said, do you want someone putting their fucking hand all over it? And I grab him by his neck, and I'm holding him by his neck. I'm like, you stupid mother.
This wasn't a stranger or an employee. This was his own friend. And how did Wes treat him? Mocked him for being stupid, screamed at him for touching his car, physically grabbed him by the neck. This was the clearest sign that Wes was spiraling. It wasn't just about flexing his money anymore. He had no respect for anyone, not even the people close to him. At this point, Wes was not just insecure, he was unraveling. He mocked a 67-year-old Uber driver for not being rich. He screamed at workers just doing their jobs. He physically grabbed his own friend over a car door. And the worst part? He thought this made him look powerful. But all it really did was expose his desperation for control. His ego kept getting bigger. His behavior kept getting worse. And eventually, it all caught up with him. The same quote-unquote alpha, who claimed to be in total control, was now completely out of control. And that's when things finally exploded. After months of spiraling behavior, Wes Watson finally crossed the line. On February 6th, at 5:30 p.m., Miami police arrested him for aggravated battery and assault, charges that could put him behind bars for up to 15 years. So what happened? Wes preached discipline, control, and dominance, but in the end, he could not even control himself.
Obviously, all that rage caught up to him because now he's arrested for assaulting a man at his gym. The guy who pressed charges said that he did so because he went into that fight thinking it would be fair. As you can see in this video, it's definitely not a fair fight. So obviously, I mean, this is just a bunch of dudes fighting extremely dirty on one guy. Like the random dude just throws a kick in there while Wes is punching the guy upwards of 50 times in the head. So Wes is grabbing this guy by the ponytail and yelling crazy like, "I'll kill you." Wes obviously has anger issues because the dude in the video clearly has had enough, but Wes just keeps yelling and comes back to kick him again after the fight is clearly way over. I don't know what this guy did to deserve this, but whatever it is, I don't think he deserved that. Wes Watson went to Instagram after the whole mess saying that it was self-defense because some big guy at his gym was challenging him. But that's not even how self-defense works. What?
This was the moment it all fell apart. Wes preached about discipline, but when it mattered most, he had none. Instead of de-escalating the situation, he escalated it to violence. Instead of standing alone, he needed backup to jump a single man. Instead of proving he was in control, he proved he was completely out of control. This was not an alpha male moment. This was pure insecurity manifesting in the form of violence.
See, Wes did actually respond to this, and this is what he said. "A hater came and tried to test me yesterday at the gym. He was at least a foot taller than me and not some normal looking dude. He was a street looking MFer. I tried to talk him out of the fight, but he insisted and it did not go as he planned. This was complete self-defense, and he was so badly injured the cops were called by the gym and the ambulance came. Everyone stopped trying to talk violence online and bring it to an MFer. I don't want that for anyone. I hope moving forward we can all just be positive and stay focused on getting ripped, become rich, and staying rare MFers. F around and find out." Dude, the world just watched you assault a dude. That was not self-defense. Also, I love that he said, let's stop talking violence online, then ended the statement with F around and find out. Like,
Wes framed himself as the victim. He claimed the other guy started it. He acted like he was forced into the fight. He said it was all just self-defense. But the video proved otherwise. Instead of fighting off an attacker, Wes was the attacker. Instead of standing his ground, he jumped someone with his crew. He didn't look like a powerful leader. He looked like a desperate man clinging to his collapsing image.
but hey, I'm sure Wes has so much to worry about. I mean, getting arrested again after already spending 10 years in prison. I'm sure his biggest concern is the upcoming trial, except it's not. Apparently, he's more worried about making sure the internet believes that he's actually 6 foot.
Wes built his brand on winning at life, but in the end, he lost everything. His reputation destroyed. His freedom gone. His money now being spent on lawyers and bail. Wes mocked others for being weak, but when it came down to it, his lack of self-control was his ultimate downfall. And just like that, the man who preached about strength and dominance is now back where he started, in police custody. The guy who mocked others for being weak was now sitting in a jail cell. The man who claimed to be in control was now at the mercy of the legal system. The influencer who built a brand on being an alpha had just publicly humiliated himself. And the worst part? It wasn't outside forces that destroyed him. It was his own choices. Everything he claimed made him powerful. His aggression, his obsession with control, had completely destroyed him. Wes Watson spent years preaching about strength, dominance, and success. But in the end, his obsession with proving himself only led to insecurity, loneliness, and now his own downfall. The Christian he mocked on that podcast wasn't rattled by his insults, because his confidence wasn't in wealth or status. It was in something unshakable. As Christians, we don't find our worth in money, power, or how many people fear us. Our value comes from Jesus Christ, who loved us and died for us. When we place our identity in anything else, it leads to arrogance when we succeed and insecurity when we fail. That's exactly what happened to Wes. The more he tried to prove his worth, the more desperate he became. And now he's sitting in a jail cell. A reminder that pride always comes before the fall. What's the lesson here? Don't put your worth in things that can be taken away. Money fades, muscles weaken, status disappears, but Christ never does. At the end of the day, true strength is not found in proving yourself. It's found in humility. It's found in recognizing that no amount of power or wealth can save you. Only Christ can. Wes thought he had it all figured out. Now he has nothing. Don't make the same mistake.
We see it all the time, don't we? You look at people's lives, and sometimes I look at people's lives and I watch them war with God. And you just want to look at them and say, stay down, man. But why? Why does sinful man insist on warring with God? As crazy as that sounds, the dust will settle. The battle will be won. And God will rescue and save his people through the person and work of his anointed one, that king on Zion's holy hill. And he will utterly destroy his enemies. And in both things, he will be glorified. Be still and know that he is God. He will be exalted among the nations. He will be exalted in the earth. Amen.
Hey, I'm Mike. If you want to support what I'm doing and help these videos reach more people, would you consider clicking that subscribe button? Thank you so much for watching this video until the end. Here is another one that you might find interesting.